So how you been keeping busy during
Yeah.
quarantine?
Um, I've not had like any. Most people my age have got like all schoolwork and that to do with like sixth form and college, but for some reason my college decided not
Yeah.
to set any work for us to do, so it's been pretty chill. But I've just been like doing a lot of DJing. Obviously, I've been trying to
hmm
learn some new stuff to do with my job. Just all
So
sorts really, anything I can think
would
of.
you say you're the youngest in the game at the moment?
I don't know. There were some of those accounts that you sent me that are like people younger than me, but I'd say I don't know really. I'd say maybe possibly.
Yeah. How do you feel kind of being the youngest in there and like kind of bringing up the next generation of DJs?
I don't really see it as like anything. I always compare myself to all the older people.
hmm
And I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, but yeah, so like I always look at myself like compare myself to the likes of everyone in my town who's already playing out
Yeah.
in clubs and stuff. But then sometimes just forget that I'm like still 17. So I don't know, yeah, I think it's good, but
I think the thing is you got to kind of stay in your own lane. Like what I've
yeah,
been,
yeah,
learning from these DJs, and learning from people is that you just got to be staying in your own lane and focus on yourself and focus on your own path
yeah,
because next person could be doing this because of this reason or because of this. So yeah.
yeah.
So how did DJing all start for you? How did everything happen for you?
Um, so I remember when I was in primary school,
Yeah.
I was used to be like really interested. It sounds so stupid, but like I used to be interested with like the projectors and all that, and like the sound system that used to be in the school hall. And I used to like I started by like helping with setting that up for like assemblies and that, and then when we had like school discos, I just used to like do them off my iPad and stuff. And
Yeah.
then I remember it was my 11th birthday party, and I got like a little like sound desk mixer thing and a speaker for my birthday, and I DJ'd my own 11th birthday party and invited the whole school to it. And that was like my first sort of gig, you could
Okay.
say. And then I just started doing stuff for like family and friends, and then just sort of worked my way up from there till I was doing like I did one wedding. I used to do mobile discos, and that was sort of my thing. And before I got into clubs, and then when I was 13, I think I was 13, I did my first gig at an under 18s night in a nightclub,
hmm
a place called Palm Beach in a town called Wellingborough where I live. And that was like I remember the first time I played there it was to 585 people. I remember the
Okay.
exact number at the
Wow.
door.
Wow.
And that was so that was pretty big. I remember like when I was there I was like literally standing like shaking, like
Got
didn't
thrown
want to
into the
make
deep
any
end there.
mistakes. Yeah, but I remember it being good and like I absolutely loved it. And then I did that a few times, and then just sort of from there really I carried on with the mobile sort of discos. Then after that I sort of realised like I was getting starting to get a bit bored of it and not really like finding the motivation with that anymore.
Yeah.
And then when I was 16, round just before I did my GCSEs, I decided I wanted to do my own events.
hmm
So I put on one with some local artists who are my age as well, just in my town at
Yeah.
a place called Bar 7. I think Alfie was talking about it
Yeah.
yesterday.
Alfie was talking about bar seven. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I remember Alfie coming along actually like halfway through it, but yeah, so I did that and it was really 180 people came, and I thought that was wicked for the first one. So and then ever since that I started going along to watch Alfie DJ on Saturday nights at Bar
hmm
7. And then it's sort of ever since then that I've really wanted to like get into the sort of club scene and start doing
Yeah.
more nights.
So in the industry, which DJs do you kind of look up to and like inspired to look like or be like?
I guess there's sort of like different levels to it because there's people like Alfie, and there's another guy called Ash Bedford who's local to us who helps me out
Yeah.
a lot. I chat to them both. Another guy called Reese who's local DJ Intense who's put me on when Dig That performed in our town. He put me
Okay.
on that night as
Yeah.
a warm up DJ. So that's something that really helped me out. And then obviously there's people like Nathan Dorr, people who are putting out music. It's something I'd definitely like to look into doing.
Has it kind of
Um,
changed for you? Like when you were growing up, you were looking at these types of DJs, or has it kind of stayed the same?
yeah, yeah. I used to love like Avicii and people like that.
Yeah.
And then when I start to start to realize that there's like different sorts of DJs. Like you've got your festival, like EDM DJs, you've got your like urban nightclub DJs. It's sort of all changed, like the perspective really.
Mm-mm. So in the next kind of five years, where do you kind of see yourself? What do you want to achieve?
I don't know. I just think I'm just gonna sort of let it go where it takes me, but I definitely want to get by this time next year. I definitely want to have a club residency somewhere if clubs are open by this time next year. But
Let's hope so. Let's hope so.
yeah, I definitely like. I think I'm gonna go abroad next year
Okay.
if all goes to plan and do a season in Zanzi, hopefully. I was thinking about going this year, but I just sort of I was gonna get it all booked, but then I changed my mind. Luckily, just before
Yeah.
we realised that no one was going anywhere. So, but yeah,
Are there
definitely like
any?
to go
So
abroad.
you mentioned Zante, but are there any other countries or cities you want to DJ in, like in the UK or Europe?
Definitely like to do Ibiza, just
Yeah.
'cause like Ocean Beach just looks like wicked places like that, where like you see like all the big DJs,
Hmm.
like all with those girls with their holding up their names with them like letters. Um, just that sort of stuff really. I'd definitely like to do.
How's it kind of been being a DJ like from young? Because like, has it been weird at school? People kind of taking a mick or not
Yeah,
kind
that
of
I
supporting
was
it?
thinking about that earlier. Like it was definitely the people in the older years always used to sort of mock it because it was
Hmm.
like I guess doing discos was never really like the sort of coolest like the cool thing. But then like when I started, it's just sort of recently in the past year or so when I started promoting, like putting on my own events, and then everyone's like, "Oh, okay, this is actually quite good." No
Yeah.
one had ever actually like heard me DJ. Then obviously I was DJing at my own nights, and people were like, "Oh, this is actually quite good." And obviously, like since then, I've learned that I've definitely improved like massively in the past year. And I think since I've been putting out like the Instagram mixes and stuff, and all my friends been like sharing it and stuff like that,
Yeah.
like it's definitely sort of flipped. And I've had like the older people used to sort of like take the mick and now like dancing to my music in the clubs and stuff. So
So you're like, yeah, so shut up now.
yeah.
Alfie, shut up about Starships, man. I still can't believe this guy played Starships.
Well, as he's finishing, so he loves
So
Nicki Minaj.
yeah, no, he's a fangirl. So are you more about like the type mixes and selection, or you kind of want to go down the scratching, all technical route?
I definitely like to play around with both, but I think like in a club, I think song selection is always going to be your most important sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because like at the end of the day, if you're playing music, you've got to keep like the like bar managers happy. It's not just about like what you want to do, is it? So like if you can keep the club full, you've got to do that by like playing music that people wants to hear. And I think sometimes doing that, not necessarily like being the best DJ like technically, like in terms of your skill, but if you can just play the right tunes, then I think that's probably the most important part.
In your opinion, do you
And
think that the older DJs kind of look down on the younger DJs or not really take them on
I
board,
think
or
you get all the ones obviously like, oh, if you're not doing it on CDJs without waveforms, then you're a bad DJ, or if you can't do it on vinyl, or if you're using a laptop or a controller and all this and all that.
yeah.
But I think like you could literally be playing music off like two phones, and like as long as you keep in the crowd, like if you can keep the crowd like dancing and keep the dance floor full, then like you can't really say anything to that.
Mm-mm. In your opinion, what makes a good DJ?
Definitely someone who can like keep the keep the crowd full. Yes, Ash tuned in now. Someone who can keep the dance floor, like keep the energy all night. Someone who can use the mic, I think, is important. Because I think that can add like a whole like sort of another aspect to
Yeah.
like your set.
How are you on the mic?
Um, I've definitely got better. I used to never be able to do it, and then sort of like you sort of get like that one gig where you just decide, right, I'm gonna do it, and then like you just have to sort of go for it. Like I did an event in September last year where I was meant to be doing like the production for it, so I do sound and lighting as a job,
Yeah.
and so I'd provided all that, and I was DJing as well, and then obviously like there was lots of different acts, but obviously they hadn't thought about a host, so then I just ended up like MCing the whole night, and then a drum and bass DJ comes on at the end, and I just ended up like MCing over the top of all of it. And I think that ever since then, I've sort of had like the mic like confidence. You just sort of have to go for it,
Mm-mm.
really. I think.
Has that helped you in your sets?
Um, I think so. It's hard to find like a balance between like making sure you're concentrating on the DJing and not
Yeah,
getting distracted by like using the mic. But
definitely.
yeah,
What kind of DJ do you class yourself as? Do you say urban, dance, house, or
I'd
multi-genre?
I'd say urban, but I played like tech house events. Got like proper like heavy drum and bass mixes on my SoundCloud.
Yeah.
Like like proper drum and bass like rollers and stuff that are becoming
Hmm.
really popular now. Like I'll listen to that sort of stuff. But then I also love like playing. I don't know. I'll just play across like everything really. But yeah, I'm probably like into like tech house. Like I listen to that quite a lot. But then I'd say I'm best at playing urban.
Yeah. If you kind of look back on your last couple of years, would there be anything you'd change about how you started DJing or anything different?
Um, I don't know. I think I would have promoted my own nights. I would have done it at a younger age because
Yeah.
sort of like at the age we're at now, like 16, 17, no one really wants to go to under 18s because people will just go like and get into clubs anyway, won't they? But
Mm.
like, I definitely would have started doing that younger because I never really like realized how like sort of easy it is. Like the way I did it, I literally just spoke to like the nightclub manager. I found out who the manager was and just messaged him. I was like, look, I want to put on my own events. I think I'll
Yeah.
be able to do it. I've got a mate who does graphic design. He made a poster and then literally just sent it out to everyone, put it on Snapchat every day. And then it was as easy as that, really. But yeah, I think I definitely would have done that earlier and sort of concentrated more on like my mixing, like ability and techniques.
Yeah. So obviously there's always going to be ups and downs in this industry, well, in any industry, but like obviously we don't really see the downsides on social media and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So how many kind of like emails are you putting out daily, or like what are the struggles behind DJing for you?
Oh, like all the time I'm like DMing like different DJs on Instagram, like sending them my mix videos, like trying to work out. Sometimes I will go like weeks without being able to like think of ideas for a mix, and then other days I'll come
Yeah.
up with like three in one day. So it's just sort of like that sort of thing, really, like that no one really sees. But yeah, like DMing DJs all the time, DJs with big amounts of followers and stuff, asking for advice, sending them my mixes, saying if they think there's anything I can do, and then just like I think the best way is just to keep talking to people
Yeah.
like wherever you can,
Someone said I
because then
need
that's
another mini mix.
yeah. I need to. I recorded one the other day, like recorded the audio for it, but I haven't
Yeah.
recorded the video for it yet. But because I've been trying to like mix them up and do them in sort of different places to make them a bit more like
Interesting.
enjoyable to watch rather than just like in my bedroom. Trying to be creative with it, but
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Are you gonna hop on an Instagram live set?
I've been thinking about it, but I think it's now one of them things you sort of have to promote beforehand to let
Yeah,
people know.
it's
Because I
it's
think,
yeah, it literally is now.
like for me, if I was going to watch a live, I need to like make sure I've got like another device to watch it on because like
Yeah.
everyone just wants to do like other stuff on their phone, don't? And people click on your phone for like 2 minutes, but I think you've got to sort of promote it before so people can like get their iPad or their laptop or whatever ready
Yeah,
so
yeah,
you can
definitely.
like
And that,
properly
that's a
watch
big
it.
point as well because like people this generation, like you look at the other DJs because their fan base is like 30, 25 to 40, let's say,
Yeah,
right? They're not, those people aren't gonna go off the live, or they've got another device to just put a
yeah,
live
yeah,
on and stuff like that. Like people in this age group, they'll just swipe off. They'll come in for like two
yeah,
minutes and then
yeah,
swipe off. So it's just like branding and everything and promoting it, and definitely, yeah.
yeah.
Is branding a key thing for you?
I think so because that's sort of the only thing I've really been able to focus on. I think that's definitely like with my Instagram. I've focused on my Instagram a lot, and I've like
Yeah.
paid to promote some of my videos and stuff. I think that's like for at where I'm at the minute. I think it's quite important to like show people what I can do, especially because I'm like at this age I'm actually like too young to go to nightclubs.
Yeah.
So like I've got to. There's no other way really apart Hello?
Sorry, bro. Yeah.
Oh, it's all
Sorry,
Wi-Fi frozen
no,
up
no,
again.
someone was ringing me. It's okay. Don't worry.
Oh, I thought it
It's
was
not
my
you. It's not
Wi-Fi.
you. Someone was ringing me. It's all right. Yeah.
Fam,
So
what?
with the nightclub things, right? So what I used to do was do the early sets from like 10 to 12 or 11 to
Yeah,
12, and then not, and then obviously I wasn't allowed in after 12. So you could try
yeah.
that.
A lot of them, like, they are, like, fine with me going. Like, and they do like, I'll get the occasional set, but I think, like, obviously if somewhere wants a resident, they don't, it's not really that, don't look that good on them if their resident DJ's under 18, does it?
Mm, mm.
But I think
But no one needs to know that
I'm just
though.
sort of
No one needs to
waiting.
know that
Yeah,
because like
yeah,
no one's gonna go ask, oh, how old's the DJ?
yeah. Go and ask him for his ID.
But that's literally how it is though. Like I used to just do the 10 to 12 sets or 10 to 11 sets and then just
Yeah,
leave after 11:30 or whatever.
that's the sort of thing I'm trying to find. But like, yeah, at the minute, I'm pretty happy with like where I am in Kettering at the minute. Like most of the like owners or managers or whatever know me, and they're all happy for me to go along.
Yeah.
Like some would say I have to stand in the like have to stand with the DJ or whatever, but then some are like, oh yeah, you can bring a mate with you as well if you like, and stuff like that.
That's all right.
So
At least they're saying you can bring
yeah,
a mate.
yeah, it is
Like
pretty
in
good to be
London, it's
honest.
like no, it's just no straight away.
Yeah, I think it really like I think it depends on your area and like how
Yeah.
big the club is, obviously. But
But I don't really know
yeah,
many places in London that will allow it. There are some places, but it's normally like you have to do the 10 to 11 set and then leave
yeah,
as soon as you finish, like as soon as you finish, basically.
yeah,
Because if the police come and blah blah blah, then it's just yeah,
yeah.
all their
I guess
licensing
it's all
issues,
down to the license at the end of the day, isn't it? And if they
literally.
lose that, then they're screwed.
So how do you find it with working with the controller? Like, do you want to upgrade to CDJs or have you got CDJs or
Um, I'm really like to be honest, I think I was talking about this with Alfie the other day.
yeah?
That I think on my controller I can do more than what I can do on CDJs,
Hmm.
like hands on. And I definitely have like in terms of all the pads, I use them like so much, like the hot cues
Yeah.
and the sampler a lot. And I know you can get those like little pad controllers you can use with your laptop. Oh, shout out DJ Airphones watching. I remember when I was 13 and I used to watch his me mix videos. I used to look up to him actually.
Okay.
He was one of the people that like sort of inspired me to put out like mini mix videos and do. I used to do Facebook live streams when I
Yeah, yeah,
was
yeah.
like 13, 14, and I sort of it was all sort of his like Facebook profile was the sort of thing I used to try and like copy.
Mm.
And you
So
think he had a wicked setup as well.
see, the setup is like the key thing as well on the lives. Like,
Yeah,
I'm just like very lazy with the setup with that.
yeah,
Like, I mean, it gets to the point where it's like after quarantine, I'll probably still do these lives, but it's
yeah,
not gonna matter if you've got a sick setup or not because it's just gonna matter about your sets and how you're
yeah.
DJing in a club,
I
basically.
think on live streams, if you can use a mic,
Yeah.
it's pretty good to make it a bit more interactive. So it's not just people like watching and engage with the comments and stuff like that.
Mm.
But yeah, going back to like the setup thing, like to be honest, if I had a residency somewhere, I think I'd just use my controller there and a laptop. Like before, all the club sets I've done, I've just taken a USB, but I
Yeah.
think you obviously get so much more features as an urban DJ, like for your like samples and hitting your hot cues and stuff if you're using like Serato. So I think definitely from now on I'm going to be using a laptop
Hmm.
or just take my controller.
How do you find it kind of getting tracks from back in the day and stuff like that? Do you think, do you know a lot of tracks from back in the day, or you watching
Um,
these lives and you see
yeah, that's
DJs
one
pulling
of the
out
other
these tracks and
things.
you're like, I have no clue
Yeah, I
what this
don't know
track
that
is.
too. Yeah, that's something I've been like trying to like. I'll just sit and listen to playlists on Spotify loads, and then I'll hear a tune and be like, oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Listening to like every time I'm in a club, that I'll always be on my notes on my phone, writing down songs that the DJ's playing.
Finish Shazam by the DJ booth.
When I used to go and watch Alfie, he said to me, he was like, oh yeah, you need to. He told me to write down any song that got a good reaction from the crowd. I
Yeah.
was like, you need to write that down. Like he didn't care. He was like, look on my control or look on my mixer, look what song it is, um, and stuff like that. So that's sort of how I built up like all the more classic tunes. I've always been into music anyway, so I've always listened to quite a wide, like I've never really just listened to one thing.
Mm,
So
mm, mm. How do you find crowd reading? Like, do you think it's something you gotta develop and it's practice, or do you think you could just get that straight away? Because there's some
I
people that can
think
read a crowd straight away.
I think I got a good start, obviously, with doing discos, because obviously you're not just playing like you're playing everything like 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s,
Yeah.
cheese. And I think from doing like I did a few engagement parties and they were always good because it tended to be like sort of crowds between like their 20s and 30s, so you could literally play. You had to play like completely everything, like new stuff all the way back. And I think from doing that, that's definitely helped. Um,
Mm,
so now like when I'm in a like when I did like my under 18s events and stuff like that, I always
yeah.
thought they were easy because I knew exactly what people my age listen to and what to
Sorry,
play. And then obviously you can.
Irfan, I've already answered that question, but he's already answered this question, but I'll do it again anyway. So he said, what's the goal in the next 5 years?
I'd definitely like to go abroad. I'd like to get abroad. I'd like to put on some bigger nights. I've been speaking to some people about booking some artists in my
Hmm.
town
Yeah.
and been saving up a bit of money and stuff. So
The thing is the
um,
money in it, like the events, because I
yeah,
used to do my events as well, like 2 years ago, and it's just a lot of money. That's the thing.
yeah, yeah. Like I know when Dig Dat played in my town, he cost 4 grand for a 20
Yeah,
minute
yeah,
performance, and like I'm 17. I've not got. I don't think anyone's really just got 4 grand, but
yeah. It's only when you got the proper like funding to put back into like to put into
yeah,
it.
a lot of the time they get help. I know one of the promoters in my area gets helped from the nightclub, like because he's got a good relationship with them. The nightclub will
Yeah.
give him the money, and then like he'll just pay it them back after the event, sort of
So
like
do
a
you want to do
loan.
more frequent events after quarantine, like every couple
I'd definitely like
months
to.
or?
I've planned a few. I've already like I always get really like excited about it, and I'll go and like start making posters and stuff like at like
Yeah,
3 in the
yeah,
morning when I'm thinking about it. But yeah, definitely. I'm always thinking about it. Like it's always just like at the back of my mind, like, oh, what can I do next? How can I get to the next step?
Are there any
Like where can I go?
festivals you want to DJ in?
I've never really thought that much about festivals, but I think one I'd like to do. I'd love to do a drum and bass set at NAS
Yeah.
or that sort of thing in one of those rave tents. Like I
You
always
like the
think they're
hardcore rave
absolutely wicked.
tents?
Yeah, like the ones you get at like Reading and Leeds and all that. I just think they're wicked. So that's something
Sorry.
I'd
Yeah.
definitely like to do in terms of like festivals.
So with the drum and bass, is like you want to get into that properly and like study that music, or is it like only certain types of crowd that you'll play it for? Is it something that you want
Yeah,
to get into?
I'd only do I'd only play like on my Serato. I've got like a commercial drum and bass crate, and then I've got like my drum and bass like proper drum and bass
Yeah.
crate with only songs that like drum and bass fans would know. And
Irfan
like
said, will you produce in the future?
I've been messing around and I've got Logic on my Mac and I've been messing around with it in the past few weeks. Like I've been trying to make like garage. I've been like learning how to make like garage beats
Hmm.
and been trying to make like garage remixes of tunes, and
Yeah.
I've messed around with like making house tracks before and stuff, but that's definitely something I'd be interested in doing. I think I need to every DJ I hear who produces always said they wish they started it at an earlier age. So
What's three tips you'd give to up and coming DJs like yourself to get in the scene and get known?
I think you've just got to like make sure like all the clubs in your area, like the owner knows who you are, like the manager knows who you are, their resident DJ knows who you are.
Hmm.
Just speak to people. So I feel like I'm sort of at the stage now where like whatever club needs a DJ, like I'm sort of like just sitting underneath, like ready to go into whatever gap opens up in my town. But I was sort of really desperate at first, and I was trying to get in anywhere. But now there's just one club in town I've got my eyes on,
Yeah.
and I'd definitely love to. One of my goals is to be resident there within the next year. So
So Ash said, what's your next step and how will you get there?
what's my next step? I think my next step's definitely getting a residency, and Ash helps me out. Ash is a resident at the club that I
So
was speaking about,
that's
and
basically a hint to Ash, like get me the residency.
yeah, and like me and Ash me and Ash chat every day, and like we speak about stuff and we help each other out. And I
Yeah.
think helping other DJs out with stuff is quite important because then that means they can help you out in the long run. And he's got me like sets in some smaller bars and like just sorts of stuff like that.
What's the highlight of your career so far? What's been the highlight for you?
Probably when I supported Dig That. That was like one of the best. It's definitely the best club night I've ever been to. And I did early doors. I did like 10. My slot was like 10 to 11, but a DJ didn't turn up, so I ended up getting like 10 till half 12, and like it started filling up right from
Guidelines.
yeah, it started filling up like straight from when it opened, so that was really good. And like I love the warm up set was really fun because I was playing all these tunes that I wouldn't normally play at an under 18s night because that I had in my library, but yeah, that was definitely like my highlight, and that's where I've got like the best photos from as well because there was photographers there.
So going off the back of that, would you be an artist DJ or would you want to be a DJ that DJs on a night and the artist comes down and you DJ for them?
I don't think that, depending on what artist it was, I think
Sorry,
possibly.
I've fun sharp, man. Like, you know, I don't have funds like you. This guy's got funds. I need funds, man. You know, I'm trying to. Nah, it's not even. It's just like
I've seen
I
you
only
with like
put
4
in.
pairs of lewds on your Instagram.
No, it's not even that. It's just because, like, obviously, when I'm doing these lives and everything, and like doing my live sets, I'm seeing a lot of DJs just put it in their bio, like little tips here
Yeah,
and
you
there.
may
So
as
like,
well.
just see what happens. I've got a couple people already do it, so it's alright. But it's not serious. I'm not going. Please, everyone, give me 100 quid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
just to help me through the time, you know. But yeah, sorry, carry on.
What were you saying?
About artist DJ or tour artist DJ or DJ on a night.
I think depending what artist it was, if it was obviously someone not really good or someone not really up and coming, then I'd be their DJ. But I think sometimes I wouldn't want to get locked to just being known because I was an artist DJ and only DJing for them. I'd sort of like to be like my own act rather than supporting someone else's act.
But do you think if you built your brand up and built yourself up, then you could be the artist DJ, or do you still think you don't want to be tagged to someone's name like that and be like, I'm this person's DJ?
Yeah, like with their like at in my bio.
Yeah.
And like that'd be like my only claim to fame. And obviously it's still good, and like obviously you can make good money from that. One thing that I'm sort of thinking about at the minute is like how you can make DJ and like what I can do to make it like as like a main career, because I know a lot of people are like do it and like they're doing it and on their Instagrams they look all amazing. They've got like 20k followers on Instagram and stuff, but then like they're still living at home with their mums.
That's the thing. That's the thing. Like, it's not the only way you can take it to the next level is production. Like, you cannot.
That's the only way to make real money.
You cannot be a DJ, live on your own, and whatever just from DJ.
I think unless you live in like a student, unless you're playing in a student town like 6 nights a week.
Yeah.
And you're getting like a decent like pay for each night, then I don't think, unless you're doing that, you're never really going to make massive money from it until you become like a tour DJ.
But the thing is, what I was noticing as well, that followers don't even matter, because when I'm interviewing these DJs and everything, like when I ask the question, like, do you get your gigs because you got 20k or 11k or 10k or whatever? They're like, not even, because if you're looking at overseas, right?
Yeah.
Flipping, I don't know, Stavros, you know, from Greece, don't know what's going on in the UK. You know what I mean? Like, he's not going to know what's going on, and he's not going to care that you got 10,000 followers, because not all your 10,000 followers are going to be there.
Yeah. In my, like, I always look at my followers, and I think, like, it's more about who's following you than, like, how many there is.
That's
so, like,
literally
Rusky
what I've kind of changed. That's literally what I've changed my mindset.
Yours. Yeah. Like, Rusky started following me the other day, and I was like, oh my God, he's got 40k.
Yeah.
And, like, just sort of, whenever, like, a DJ I've sort of looked up to starts following me, I'm always like, oh, yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I've just kind of, like, my mindset's changed during this period where it's like, you know what, I've got some big DJs numbers now from doing these interviews, and I'm like, that's even bigger than 50k following, you get me?
Yeah.
Because, like, I could just call them or text them or be like, can you come do this, or can I do this for you, or whatever, instead of, followers mean nothing unless you, I mean, if you got your own events or something like that, then obviously, or if you're an artist. Because I feel like
I think it's good for promotion.
I feel like if you're an artist with
To be
2K, no
fair.
one's gonna look at you unless you got 10K
Yeah,
plus.
yeah.
Would you ever want to get down that route?
What route?
The artist route.
Oh,
Like, are you good at rapping,
what?
or are you good at writing lyrics?
No. I can play a guitar.
Okay.
Wanted
So
to
why have
join
you
a
not?
band,
Why have you not carried on with that?
I've gone through quite a lot of different hobbies and like sports. But like DJing's always been that one thing that I've always sort of gone for.
Yeah.
And like it's always just stuck with me, and I've always enjoyed, and like I've always been really dedicated to. So it's just been that sort of like standout hobby.
So you're doing your next event. What 3 DJs are you putting on, or which 3 artists?
Unlimited budget.
Unlimited budget, yeah.
I think if it was, so say I'm putting on an under-18s event, just mix it up a bit. I think I'd definitely go for H, just because all the girls love him.
Mm.
And that'd immediately, like, he'd fill the club on his own. H, I'd go for, like, in my area, I'd go for, like, probably a drill rapper.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, it's hard. I'd say, like, Stormzy is obviously, like, would be, like, a massive one. And Drake, I think. Stormzy, Drake, and H, if I had to pick
This
3.
is a festival, bro. This ain't no event. This is a festival. This guy's turning into some festival here.
Yeah, in a 400
Okay, which 3
capacity nightclub.
DJs?
Which 3 DJs? I'd put on. Have you seen Joe LaBelle? Did you say you're doing an interview with him?
Yeah, I'm doing an
I've
interview with him tomorrow.
All his videos on his Instagram are sick. Like all the like mashups and stuff he does.
Yeah.
And,
I thought I said I'd choose DJ. I thought that's for your event, man.
I'd definitely pick him as like one of the sort of smaller ones. I think I'd pick Nathan Dorr just because he's got his good tunes. I don't know. There's too many people to pick from. But someone like maybe like Tom Zanetti or like Joel Corey, like one of the big big like house DJs.
What's your take on do you know what I'm gonna ask you? Would you?
No.
What's your take on reality TV stars going into DJing? Are you alright with that, or are you kind of like they're gonna take up my sets? Because there's some DJs where they know for a fact they're not gonna take their sets. But like if you look at Rusky, like he knows that they ain't gonna take his sets. But for like us lot and stuff like that. Yeah,
I think like Idris Elba is always one that comes to mind because have you ever watched his Elbow set and it's like, and it's just like terrible. Like you can just see him making mistakes all over the place, and like he's only become a DJ just because he's like really famous, and he's got, like obviously he's made a few house tracks and they are good, but like you can just tell they've been ghost produced. He's definitely not like sat there and made it on his own, or like had to make it on his like 6-year-old MacBook.
Yeah.
With headphones because that's the only stuff he has.
But do you think it's a big problem now? Like there's gonna be a lot of reality TV stars coming into the scene, or do you think it's not gonna matter?
I don't think it matters too much because I think obviously they're gonna get booked, but they're never gonna like take a residency somewhere. They're only gonna be doing one-off nights, aren't they? So they're never gonna be like major competition. And obviously they're all gonna be really expensive as well.
Alfie, shut up with Starships, man.
I would never the context of Starships.
No, because I asked him what tune are you throwing down to get the ladies going. Man said Starships.
I heard that yesterday, but I don't know why he just said it now.
I don't know what he's saying.
We're not even talking about songs. I didn't even realise you were still here.
That's not even a banger. That's done now. It's 20 whatever, whenever it came out, 2012 or whatever. Do you wish you had Alfie's shiny teeth? Yes. Because that gets girls.
Alfie told me he hasn't had his teeth done.
He has had it done. He has.
I don't know.
He's had it done. He's had it done.
He drinks like 4 pints of mouthwash a day.
No so way, you're lying to me.
But he used to drink mouthwash in a nightclub. I've seen them do it.
Mad.
It'd like
Alfie, is that
like
what you take instead of alcohol? You take mouthwash?
there'd be like someone would put down like a glass on the DJ booth and he'd pick it up, like empty out and get his mouthwash out and then drink the mouthwash and spit it back in someone's cup in the middle of the club.
Wait, Paul, you know about that one as well. He's like, I don't actually know. Yeah, like yesterday, I was actually blinded by his teeth. Like,
yeah,
I needed sunglasses, Alfie.
it's one of them ones. Yeah, one of my goals is to have blinding teeth.
So a lot of people have like the misconception that with DJing you get a lot of girls. Do you find that, or do you think that it's just like it comes with it because in that industry there's drink, girls, money, club, whatever?
Yeah, I think I don't know really.
Oh, you're still young. It's fine.
I'd say like obviously like all DJs give off that like celebrity lifestyle. Like it's just part of like the marketing yourself. You've got to like look the part, haven't you? And I think girls like that, but I don't want to talk about it too much.
Do you have a little?
It's just one of them.
Do you have a little fangirl like going on? Do you have a groupie?
I don't know, to be honest. I've got the same few always like messaging me saying they like my mixes and stuff.
I said, don't be humble, Joe. I see you, goddamn. See, he's not even gonna talk. He knows. That's why he knows. He knows.
Tells us he's 18.
He's just turning 18. He's just turning 18. See, when you turn 18, it's easier. It's easier.
I used to think it was like, I remember like being in clubs and if someone asked how old I was, I'd think it was really cool to say I was like, oh yeah, I'm 16. Like, oh yeah, I shouldn't be here.
I mean, it was cool when I didn't realize that age matters a little bit. I see Joe telling girls he's 20. With what beard? With what beard, bro? He's 14. I said he's 14.
17.
No, but I used to, yeah, when I started.
Alfie, you're 25 and act like you're 17.
What? No, but I used to do that in clubs. Like, if I was DJing, I'd be like, how old are you? I'd be like 16, like, acting like it was sick, but it really
and then
wasn't.
They just go,
they'd just walk away. They'd walk away, and they'll be like, oh, I could be your son. I mean, you could be my, sorry, you could be my son. I was like, oh, yeah, okay.
And then you
just turned the wrong way. Chris was 3 years old with a beard. Nah, I got my beard when I was 15. Like, I started growing it when I was 15. But my mate, who had a proper beard when he was like 12. Like, literally, I remember back in, what year is is when you're 12? Is that year 7?
Yeah, year 7, year 8.
Yeah, he started growing a beard in year 7. Like, and I was like, no way. Like, we were all taking a mitt because obviously we didn't really know what was going on there. We didn't really know what was going on there, but yeah. Alfon, you're just jealous, man. You can't grow anything. Wait, someone's put a question. All right. Thoughts on the sync button?
I think if you're like trying to mix like two like song chorus after chorus, and you've like literally dropping song after song, then yeah, like it can enhance. I think if it can enhance your set, then yeah. But then sometimes I think like you're either pressing a button or you're looking at a screen and then moving a fader so the numbers match.
Have you used the sync button?
That's how I learned, because I was just like, oh, that's what that button is for. Like, I didn't really like think there was anything. When I first got virtual DJ on my laptop, I was like, all right, the sync button, that's for the job of it. I didn't know there never used to be a sync button or whatever.
Would you do it live, or would you beat match properly?
With like, it depends what genre I'm playing. Like, let's be like every every DJ. Like, you know, like literally most DJs, they just look at the screen and match the numbers. But at one point I made myself learn to beat match. Like, if I'm playing house music, like, then yeah, I'll do it because you've got way longer in like your transition. But like, if you're trying to like mix like song after song when you're playing like urban, then I think like if you use it and like what's coming out the speakers. That sounds sick, then I don't think it really matters.
Has radio ever been a route for you? Like, would you want to go down radio's route or just stick to clubs, festivals?
I think I'd do like guest mixes, but I think the difference, one thing, like one of my favourite parts about the whole thing is the crowd.
Yeah.
And I think like that's the best, like the most rewarding part is like getting feedback. And obviously with radio, you're just looking at a number on a screen, yeah. And I think I'd struggle with that. That's the same. That's like I've tried doing Instagram lives before, and I always find it a bit weird because you can't like see anyone properly.
But like, obviously, that is the best way to build your confidence. Like shadow, kind of just talking to yourself, basically. Because like, it's weird on Instagram Live, you know, like DJing and talking to yourself. But when you kind of see people chatting in the comments,
when
going,
your
like,
mum's outside your room, like, who's he chatting to?
Like, you know, when you got people chatting in the comments, going like, yeah, this is a sick mix and stuff, then it kind of hypes you up and everything.
Yeah.
Radio's I mean, I DJ on radio, but it's a good route, but it's just, I don't know. What, in your opinion, do you think it's dying out, or do you think it's always going to be there?
I think it's more like, I've always just seen radio as a thing you have in your car.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I'd listen if I knew one of my friends was on it, or a specific mix I wanted to listen to, then I'd listen to it. But like, I think like radio has always sort of been like background music.
Yeah.
And never like something you actually listen to. Obviously, if like Capital Extra or like One Extra asked me to do a mix, then I'd do it, yeah. But
do you drive yet, or Corona? Did Corona mess it up?
No, I passed my theory the day before the test centres shut.
Okay.
So, yeah, and I was like been practicing loads, and I would have been passed by now, I'd say, if I passed.
So you gotta wait for time now, innit? It's gonna be that waiting list is gonna be long.
Yeah, I'd been waiting like ever since I've like really even thought about it. I'm like, oh yeah, I can't wait to drive. I did a driving lesson on my 17th birthday. Did 4 lessons within a week of being 17, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be passed soon, like straight away. And then obviously, but I guess I wouldn't be able to drive anywhere now anyway. So it would
when do you think clubs are coming back?
Oh, I don't even know. Like as a job, I do like production for events. So I do sound and lighting, and like installations in nightclubs. I do a lot of work at Leicester City Football Club. I do like all sorts of events, like festivals and stuff. And so obviously it's impacted me, not just because clubs have shut, but because like I can't actually work because no one's having events. So there's no. So I've been sort of thinking about it from 2 perspectives. But I'm not. No one really. There's not. I don't think there's anywhere.
Where do you think, though?
To be honest, stuff's been pushed back to September, and I'd like to think we can start going to events by September. But I just don't know if it's realistic.
I hope so. I hope it's September.
But
I think there's a lot of DJs that are saying it'll be December that will come back. So I don't know.
I think it's all right. It's all right for the DJs are the people like. I think it's more worse for like the night, because obviously nightclubs, like they don't make like massive like profit. Like they have obviously huge costs to run a nightclub, and I feel bad for all these like smaller nightclubs now who like have obviously relying on like their Fridays and their Saturdays so they can keep making money. And now same as restaurants, same as any hospitality sort of business, it's not really great because no one's making money and places are having to shut down. And that's just what I'm hoping that.
What's your take on promoters and managers coming up to you halfway through your set and saying that the dance floor's packed but no one's by the bar? How do you kind of deal with that situation?
I've never really like had that, to be honest, like because under 18s, like the managers know what they're going in for, and that they'll probably sell about 4 cokes in the whole night. And I know. But that
like, if that happened to you, do you think it's the DJ's problem? What problems do you think?
Don't know.
Like, how do you kind of take that?
I'd probably just like say something on the mic, to be honest, and be like, oh yeah.
What, bar's open?
They've got to like have the drinks deals and stuff, haven't they? To like.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess it depends what way you look at it. Like people go to a nightclub to like dance, but then the nightclubs want people to go there to buy drinks, and they'd rather have the bar full than the dance hall empty, I guess. But
to kind of finish up, you said you wanted to do different countries and stuff like that. So where'd you kind of, with the, like your next steps as well, what do you see yourself doing in terms of the clubbing scene? Do you want to be touring the cities in the UK? Like, do you want to be going down to different sets and
Yeah,
working
I'd
with
like
more
to do
DJs
that.
and stuff like that?
I'd like to do that eventually. Like, I think it'd be quite good to go on a tour, like supporting someone that has a support DJ.
Yeah.
And I think that'd be good something to maybe try and do in the next like 2 years. So, and then like obviously I'd love to like have my name on posters in cities and people coming specifically just to see me rather than just going for a night out. I think that's sort of the ultimate goal, really.
Yeah, you want your name like up in the club lighting
Yeah,
on posters everywhere.
yeah, on the big video wall.
Definitely. But
Yeah,
thank you, bro. Thanks for your time, man. I
yeah.
really
Thanks for having
appreciate
me.
it. And like, I'm
Yeah,
waiting to
cheers.
see what you got next. I'm waiting to see what you got next, man. I want to see
Yeah,
the
the
next event as
content's.
soon as quarantine's over. I want to see that event being put up.
Yeah, I've been making posters and messaging people and texting club owners and stuff. So I'm getting it all sorted.
Cool, man. But
So
I appreciate this, man. I really appreciate
yeah,
it.
you too.
Take care. Hope. Thank you to everyone tuning in at the moment. I'm back in like 12 minutes. So yeah, I've got Gavin Omari in 12 minutes time, and then just Craig at 5:30. But yeah, thanks for everyone tuning in.
Okay, cool.
Cheers, bro.
Cheers.